Hello friends, neighbors, John, your wish neighbor here. Welcome down the Nook. It's Sunday. Normally I'm doing samples, but I'm kind of on this few weeks of opening bottles. But more than that Friday night opening, I will give you first thoughts on the Dewar's 21 Mizunara Oak. So, this is a 21-year-old, but it's a blended Scotch. So we've got some grain, we've got some malt, we've got a number of casks. And I'll tell you more about that when we get into it. But this is a full size, not the 375s that the other 21-year-olds show up here on the shelves for. This is the full bottle, 750 mils. And then just on the back end, just to compare, okay, this is also a Dewar's blended Japanese Mizunara cask. Far less expensive. Am I getting similar things? It'll be fun to do that. So pour a blended Scotch if you have it. Bit of grain, bit of malt in there, I think will give us a better comparison than going against a single malt. 3, 4. Well, thanks for staying with me. As I said, we're going to talk about this 21-year-old Dewar's double aged Mizunara Oak. It came in that nice case. Maybe I'll try to show that on the camera as well. This is a full-size bottle, 750 mils. And what's nice when they get up here in age, at least from Dewar's, is, they are non-chill filter, natural color, 46%, as Scotch should be. When we get to this comparison, it is colored, filtered, and 40%. So it's probably worth paying for, even if it was just this at 46%. But, as I said, it comes in this really interesting box, and I'll try to put that on there. I might cut to it or not. I have no idea whether that'll focus. One of the things, though, that's, I think, important to talk about when you look at Dewar's, Stephanie McLeod, I think, is a phenomenal blender, and I think doing really, really wonderful things with this. But what Dewar's is now very committed to is that double aging, and that's where I don't know if this works on the camera, I'll cut in at some point. But they take their single grains and they take their single malts and they age them in barrels. Then they make blends. They blend their grains, they blend their malts, still separate, and then they age that in oak. I don't know how long. And then they decide what is the Scotch blend. We're going to have some grain, we're going to have some malt. And they age that together in barrels. And then finally, they finish it. And today's finishing is in the Mizunara Oak, the Japanese oak that's hard to work with in the sense that it twists. So I think it's tough to make the right staves. It takes a long time to grow. There's less of it in Japan than across North American oak. So that's often why Mizunara is pretty expensive. I'm going to come back and talk value on this, but already in the bottle shot when I tried to open it with you, I did mention that this showed up at my Costco for $98 Canadian, which for a 21-year-old blended Scotch, I think is phenomenal value, if it's any good. So that was a lot of precursor. Box showing, process talking. Let's just see though if this 21-year-old Japanese oak is worth even putting on the shelf. On the nose. So this is sweet and dusty. It is light apricot. I think on the opening I said banana, maybe ripe banana. But I'm getting a bit of stone fruit, but that is often really sweet. Yet it's held back. It's held back from oak. Nice oak, nice floral oak. Yeah, there's a sweetness to it, something. I've shared before, Mizunara Oak for me can be wildly unusual. Grated Parmesan cheese, funkiness, and where this has just a hint of just a little bit of almost a light mushroom, like just something else, right? But it's just light. For me, I think if I just pick this up in a blind, I'm going to say that sweet fruit, ripe fruit, that ripe banana, but there's a sweetness, like a little bit of an apricot in there. It's not a peach type juicy, not at all. And then I would say I'd be fumbling around with the oaks that I'm trying to get. Let's try it on the palate, see if I can't get a few more flavor notes for you. So, sláinte. It's very nice in the palate. It really coats well. It's not chewy, don't get me wrong, but it's full. Sweet, vanilla wafers, that kind of, like, you've got a bit of substance to that vanilla. And then there's that light sweet oak. Where I often go to is that almond. And I think most people go to light coconut. My problem is the coconut that I have around here, maybe it's too heavy. It's like when I'm eating coconut, it's like, whoa, it's all I taste. I don't get that here. It's a tasting note right on there, coconut. But for me, I'm getting that lighter, sweeter almond. I need another taste. Sancha. As second sips often do, it broadened, it deepened. It's got a really nice Mizunara Oak. I haven't had enough of that to really be able to describe it to you, but for me, it's that light funk, not a peat or diesel or that kind of weird funk, but just that light oak must, a little bit on that edge of cheese rind. Like, it's not cheesy and it's not, but that rind, that pungency that you get, I can get that off here. For me, that's what I think I'm relating to Mizunara, because that's almost been a common theme. Well, no, for me, it has been a common theme through any of the Mizunaras I've had. Other than that, it's got a fair amount of sweet oak. It's got some sweet light toffees in the back. It's got definite brighter, like a popsicle stick oak. I don't know how you call it. Like, it's got, a surprising amount for a 21-year-old. Maybe it's all those barrels going on, but that to me gives it structure. Part of why I'm going on and on and on is I'm trying to see what the finish is like. I was just sipping with you guys a couple of 18-year-olds. Now the youngest liquid in here is 21 years old. And I'm trying to get a sense of the longer finish. And it's there. It's actually not as strong as those two 18-year-old single malts I had yesterday. Well, at least one of them. This is settled into just on the edge of bitter oak with high sweetness. So it has lost some of its body carrying through to the finish. This is my first thoughts. If you watched the short, I opened it or tried to with you. I've poured one pour. I've gone in essence, blind. So at best, this is hints at what the bottle's going to taste like. And I'm saying that lots because a good friend of the channel the other day went, oh, based on your opening, I went and bought a bottle. And that's great. That's great. I hope you enjoy it. But I'm not committed to how lovely or not lovely this bottle is with an opening like this. It's starting well. Light fruits, nice, balanced oak, something funky about it, sweet, and a longer finish. But right now the finish is just, it needs more character. All right, let's try the cheaper one and see if I get any of the same notes. So I've already talked to you guys. I opened this with you, and you can see I've actually pulled a few drams out of this one, and I think I know this blend now. I think I've had enough. I've had it a couple different times of the day with different foods going on, and I think this Dewar's blended Scotch, Japanese smooth, so it's finished in Mizunara Oak. I think I've got its character. Now, sadly, it's 40% filtered, colored, and I don't think it goes through the 4 process. I'm pretty sure it's a house style to age grains and age malts and then blend them and age them and then finish them. So this is probably like a triple. I don't know. I mean, maybe they do the whole 4 thing, but it is finished in Mizunara Oak. So let's try this on the nose. So much sweeter. Yeah, this is more relaxed, more pungent, but this is, I think relaxed and pungent are opposite. I mean, a little less sweetness, more gentle, spicy, wide, weird, funky oak. This is just sweet. Like, this would have more broad appeal to people just kind of new to Scotch because it's so sweet on the nose. I think people tend toward sweet versus funky. Let's try it on the palate. Sláinte. I'm going to say the palate is pretty good. In fact, the palate redeems it. The palate, to me, still is gentle coating, has some of that pungency, that cheese rind, and some of that light oak. They call it sandalwood. I haven't had enough sandalwood in my life, except for I think that's quite aromatic. I'm not there. Definitely has the vanillas. Definitely has, like, right now, it really does kind of taste like a watered down version of this. But it holds up as a light, cheap green Scotch on its own right. So, that brings me to the value proposition. This is decent. And if you've never had Mizunara Oak and cash is tight, I think that's just about everybody these days. But I would say, like, this will give you a good sense of some of that I'm fumbling to describe. Something that is a little funky in the oak, a little pungent, a little umami, a little mushroomy, I don't know, that kind of thing. I think you're going to get some of that off of here. And then that's worth a $34 Canadian. That's not sale for me. That's what it is. But I don't know why I could go home with this 21-year-old, 46% natural color, non-chill filter for $98 Canadian. Like, and that also wasn't on sale. It's just sitting on the shelf. And I'll say, no, I should have cleared my palate, but while the nose is more subtle, it's more intriguing. Almost a little drier somehow across the palate. This is way more depth. This is, it's better now than it was just moments ago, partly because I'm coming off of this less expensive. So, if you have the money and you're curious about Mizunara Oak, and you're in Alberta, that is a great price for that oak. And I think it's a very decent. Now, there's still a grain note, a grainy quality. There is still that, hello, we're not just a single malt, more nutty, more round. It does have grain. So just keep that in mind. It's a blended Scotch, not a single malt. It's starting really, really well, certainly at that price point. Have you had this? Does it get better? Does it get worse? Tell me, but maybe don't. Sometimes you guys give me comments, and then that's all I can taste. Anyways, it's fun to open together with you, to share some thoughts about something a little bit different. Have a great week.